Hey, I'm Steve Speck with Exo Mountain Gear. Today we're going to walk you through how to properly load up a pack for a multi-day trip. Basically, I got everything I need with me here that for a mid-October rifle hunt. The only thing I did forget to bring is the stove, so I'll show you where I normally place that. Big overall concept principles is we want your kind of bulky, light items like your sleeping bag in the very bottom, heavier items in the middle, and then kind of miscellaneous lighter items up at the top. Another thing we highly encourage people to do, and you'll see how I load the pack up, it's the exact same every single time. So I know where everything is. It makes me more efficient when I'm out in the field. If I need to get to something quickly, I know where it's at. It's not just randomly thrown into the backpack. So starting out, we've got our water bladder sleeve that's on the inside back panel here of the bag. And what I like to throw in there is my game bags and rope. Those are two things that typically, until I get an animal down, I'm not gonna need. So those go in there, they're kind of out of the way. I got those right here. I carry like 50 feet of rope and a few game bags. Just gonna drop those in. And you can kind of see they go in this pocket right here. Just push them all the way down to the bottom so they're out of the way. And then next thing up, I pulled my water bladder out. So again, I'll just drop that in. And to hang a water bladder, you can see right here at the top, we've got this Velcro tab. So make sure you hang the bladder from that. That way it's not falling down to the bottom. And then on all of our packs, there's a hole for the bladder tube to come out right behind your head. You pop that through. And that you can run out to the right or left-hand side. And we throw this elastic in here so you can get that tucked out of the way. So now that I got that in there, like I said, if it's first thing in the morning, the very first thing I'm gonna do is grab my sleeping bag, and that's gonna go in the bottom of the pack. One thing that we do, and it's probably a lot different than others, we do not use any compression sacks. We let the bag basically be one big compression sack, and the main reason we do this, well, a couple reasons. One, it just makes us faster and more efficient in the morning. We're packing up camp every single morning and heading out hunting with camp on our back. The faster I can get that done and get moving, typically the better. And two, basically, if you stuff everything in really tight compression sacks, you know, kind of envision throwing a bunch of bowling balls in the pack. It's not going to pack up that nicely. It's going to be a little bit more floppy. Items may shift around inside. So basically, we treat these loose items kind of like packaging bubbles in a sense, where they kind of wrap around everything else, and it just packs up really nicely, carries really nicely, and definitely, you know, you can load a pack right in the wrong way, and if it's loaded correctly, it's just going to carry more comfortably for you. So sleeping bag, I just use a super lightweight 20-degree quilt. I basically just take that, stuff it all the way in the bottom here, and the next thing goes in is my sleeping pad. This is a Sea to Summit pad, which is super comfortable. It's kind of heavy and bulky, but super, super comfortable. From there, I take my tent and I push that all the way across the other side from the side zipper. Reason being is I'm not gonna need access to that until nighttime. So I always like to put my stove right here in the side zipper. That way, middle of the day, I wanna make some coffee, unzip, I can get it out really quick. So again, no stuff sack, everything's just loose. So that's gonna go there. And said normally right here I would put my stove. I don't have that at the moment. From there, all I've got left that's gonna go inside the main bag is my food and extra clothing. So I've got, you know, long johns, beanie, extra shirt. I just throw that usually right on top of the stove next to the tent. Socks and gloves. You know, the gloves, like if it's gonna be cold, obviously I'm gonna throw those in the lid so I got quick access to it. And then my puffy jacket. Once I got that in there, next thing to go in is the food. You know, something like my Mountain House meal. I'm gonna put that kind of against the back panel because I'm not gonna need access to that. And then I'll throw food right in here as well. Like to organize by day, you know, just one food baggie per day. Keeps you from overeating, and also if you're not feeling hungry, I still force myself to eat everything in that bag so I know I'm getting enough calories for the hunt. That's basically it inside the bag. So you zip that up And then from there, I've just got all my extra stuff. And this is all kind of stuff that I need to get to during a hunt, right? So for me, my headlamp always goes in this right stretchy pocket. Drop that down there in the bottom. That way, if I'm hiking and I want to get to it, I can easily just reach back, pull my headlamp out. I also put teepee and wipes in that same pocket. It's going to drop down there. On the other side is going to be my water filter. So this is a super lightweight Sawyer setup with a platypus bag. I just roll that up, drop that down in that side pocket like that. We don't use stuff sacks for our tent stakes or anything else either. So tent stakes, tent poles, just going to drop that down in the side pocket. I kind of tuck it up to the front so it's nice and close, tight to the frame. I do carry an extra platypus bag in case my one blows, just for backup. I do throw that in the bladder sleeve. And then basically the bag's fully loaded. So I'll take the roll top, suck it together, roll that up nice and tight, clip it together. And what I got left are my trekking poles, spotting scope, tripod, my butt pad I always put in this front stretchy pocket. So this is just a seating pad that we have. I just made this one myself. Super handy for when you're sitting and glassing long hours. So tripod and spotting scope. Basically, tripod I'll run right here. You can drop all the legs in or some of them. This is a little lightweight Koa 55mm scope. That'll go in your full length side pocket right there, tucked up nice and tight. Take that compression strap, run it back. That goes to there. You've also got a cinch here at the top of this, so come in and cinch that pocket up, keep stuff from falling down into there. On the other side, I've got my trekking poles, and you can put these in two different places. We do have trekking pole loops right here on the bottom. There's one here and one here, so you could run your trekking poles in like that. Me personally, I actually just like to put them in the side pocket. So I'll just drop them down in the side pocket here. That way they're tucked in close, and I can kind of put the lid of the pack over the top of it. Suck that up nice and tight. So lastly, we basically just got the lid. Inside the lid, I like to put, random stuff that I'm gonna need quick access to. I've got lens cleaner, my inReach, and then I also put one stash pocket in the lid. And so inside the stash pocket, I've got a knife, fire starter, first aid kit, fork. I have an extra little mini headlamp as a backup. I've got a little battery bank in here, extra power to power up my cell phone or my inReach if I need to. So just those miscellaneous kind of small items. Usually I'll throw my keys in here too. And that'll just go right inside the lid. So you open that up, there's a Velcro strip right here. Really easy, connect that in, it's stuck in there. Like I said, this miscellaneous stuff, throw in here. Again, stuff I want quick access to, if it's gloves or a beanie, extra food, things like that. Camera, those are gonna go in the lid. Tighten up the lid, and then on the back of the bag, or front of the bag, you've got your two lid straps. These are attached to D-rings here, which can be moved to these upper rings when you're packing a heavy load. You can move the straps up. If you're getting horns on, you can get that lid nice and tall. And that's basically it. Cinch that up. One thing I like to do is make sure that everything in the bottom of the pack is nice and tight. You can see it's not all sagging down the bottom. It's evenly distributed all the way through the pack. And you've got your front compression straps here. Those are great. When I'm bow hunting, that's how I'm going to strap my bow to the pack, to strap those on. One thing that I see some guys do sometimes is they'll have these straps really tight and these ones more loose. I like to keep these completely loose, get your side straps nice and snug, and then those do that step last. And that's basically it. Pack's loaded, ready to go. I've got everything I need for 2 days in the backcountry. The only thing that changes is if I'm you know, going to do 4 or 5 days, there might be another pair of socks and more food in there. So we encourage you to load the pack the same way every single time, and that way you're developing your own system. And just keep in mind as you're loading the pack that you want quick access to things. Again, my stove is right inside that zipper. I got quick access to my water filter, so that way I don't have to yard sale stuff out of the pack when I come across a creek and I need to get water. My headlamp's easily accessible. Food, GPS, stuff like that's in the lid, again, very easily accessible. And that's how we laid the pack out, so that the backpacking gear is inside the main bag, the sleeping bag, the pad, my tent, the stuff that I don't need to get to during a hunt, and then everything else, trekking poles, you know, tripod, spotting scope, everything else is really within like 1 or 2 buckles. I can get in and out of the pack quickly and easily, and it's really a major premise for how we like to design Exo Mountain Gear packs is just being quick and efficient there out in the field.